Welcome back to the Real Grind, guys. We are going to talk, and we've been talking about real estate while we're sipping on our best cup of coffee.
Best cup of coffee. The
And
best.
it's a
out
little,
there.
I just, it's been what? We're about over 27 episodes
No,
now.
over 30.
Okay, over 30 episodes now. And it's funny to see that people that came into this show had no experience with coffee or nothing, and now they really love it. They've been sending us pictures and stuff, and it's just been awesome.
And it's funny because it's coffee. Think about it real quick. It's the longest memory you have of something you always drink in your life,
Absolutely.
besides water. But coffee is it's always been in the household and stuff. And to see that after they come here, that kind of changed a little bit, it's pretty neat. I love it.
And also to see the experiences with the real estate. People that started from nothing, who started with very little money, and now they're building empires. And now no different. This guest today, he's gonna talk about his multifamily syndication experience and how he acquired those properties. Also that he developed this awesome platform, the system for syndicators. But first, let's get the show started. Let's go.
Waking up to success. Now we're getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on, go and make coffee. The real grind. This is the real grind. Let's go.
He founded Guardian Multifamily, currently over $40 million under management on the multifamily space. Founder of a smart syndicator, consulting and market automation firm, and he's a husband and a father with a huge passion for helping veterans to start and grow their business. Let's welcome on the stage, Brandon Wong. Let's go. My man. Thank you so much for being here, dude. It's funny, it's our little background. So Brandon invested into our first property. Why did you believe in me, man?
I saw just the background. It wasn't as much real estate heavy. I know that you had it wasn't you. Your wife has a degree from Harvard, I believe. And I attended the presentation, the webinar, and it built confidence in me. And I really wanted to get into multifamily, and I figured the best way I could learn is to learn from people that are actively doing it.
100%.
Had a good opportunity for me to learn from them.
Thank you, dude, and I appreciate it. And definitely that property is being awesome. It's one of my best performing properties. You just was the right place at the right time, right?
Yeah.
But brother, the audience too would like to get a little bit to know about you, your background, your beginning, where you're from, and.
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in New York, in Queens. My parents, when I was young, they worked minimum wage jobs. They, we lived in a 1-bedroom basement, and I just watched them grind to get us up out of that. Like my sister and I get us up out of that life, and build a better future for us.
Sure.
I moved to Las Vegas with my family when I was 12, and from there. Went to high school, and just continually watching, my parents grow and build our wealth as a family. And when I graduated high school, I went straight into the Marine Corps without anybody's permission. I didn't really talk to my parents about it. They were super pissed about that.
Really?
Yeah.
You just took off.
I just was like, I need to start making my own decisions. I need to take charge.
And you were 15.
No, when I graduated high school.
Yeah, I graduated high school.
Yeah, so I was 18. Had just turned 18.
Yeah.
And that was a very valuable experience for me. So
100%.
Fast forward a couple of years from when I had joined, I had actually deployed to Iraq in 2008 and 2009. Wow. And a buddy of mine had gave me a book, and I'm sure it's been on your show a million times, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I just remember the day, it was the middle of a sandstorm, in between missions. I had time to work out or read. And I started reading that book, and it was my Matrix moment. The veil had been lifted.
Everything
like,
got in slow motion. It was like
I could see there was clarity finally.
Yeah.
And
in the middle of a sandstorm. So that was a clarity.
What an oxymoron, right?
Yeah.
But that really changed the trajectory of my life and my goals. And I vowed when I got back and got out of the military, I was going to start start investing in real estate, just jump in with both feet, and got out, connected with a local mentor in Las Vegas at the time. And strangely enough, entered the space. My first deal, I joke it was my first no money down deal. But in around 2010, 2011, the IRS was giving like a $5,000 credit to buy a house because they were really trying to push the market and get it moving.
Stimulate the market there.
And I had a VA benefit at the time. So I bought my first home. It was literally, they paid me to buy a house. I didn't put any of my own money in. So any veterans who might be listening, consider just the power of the benefit that you have as a veteran.
Use it, right?
Yeah.
But you use it to buy your first house. Was it for you or for?
That was my primary residence for me. Okay. In hindsight, yeah, we'll get a little bit more into maybe some different strategies I would have tried. But that's my first deal. And then my first actual investment deal was a foreclosure property at the auction. A buddy of mine, another veteran, we put some money together and we purchased a property at the foreclosure in Vegas at the time.
Okay.
And lost like $5,000 on that deal. Like we got our butts kicked on it, but it was such a good lesson. We learned the basics of rehab and renovation and budgeting and managing tenants and things like that. So
yeah, so cool, man. Yeah. And a little bit about, I'm curious about the military. Was that something that you always wanted to do when you were a kid, or is just a spark to the fact that you wanted to change or something? What was that moment for veterans? Because I'm sure, like now, by talking to you a few times, I know you as much as I do. You were very passionate about your military background and want to help veterans and the community there. But did you have that dream before?
Yes, I had a desire to sort of give back because I was really grateful for just the freedom that we have, the life that even though it wasn't maybe the best upbringing, I was happy. I was a happy kid, and I was grateful for all the freedoms that we had, and I want to give back. So, I also looked up to people that were in the military. I just saw them as authority and position of strength and power, and like I want to build something like that for myself and have learn discipline and all the valuable lessons that come with that.
Which I talked on the show before and about that, and just like the discipline that the military will make a person. That discipline is definitely, maybe it's just a little bit that the person needs is that discipline. And military, I was a big fan, man. I couldn't join because when I got here, I wanted to, but then my paperwork wasn't, so I couldn't join the military at the time. But I very I love it, the aspect, especially now we have how veterans too, and see that community there. I have not being a military, but I definitely, and I thank you for your service, man.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And then where you go to college? Did you go to college after military school?
I didn't finish college. So I was
I
took classes.
Yeah.
But I am back in my, I started an executive MBA program.
Yeah.
They let me skip over the bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
Because of my background in business.
Sure.
But no, I didn't have my degree.
No, me neither, man. Not that I just, but I want to talk about so much about this marketing platform because you and I can probably geek on this like a lot, man. I know from my marketing background, production, like I love marketing, and you saw this need of helping that syndicator communities, man. But before we get to that, your first investment property, I want to first now bring some coffee time. Do you like coffee?
I do.
And guess what time it is? It's coffee time. Let's go.
What's up?
What's up, man? Let's go, Italo.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Not a problem.
And we briefly chit chat, and he's a coffee guy. He likes coffee, but as per what we're talking in there, you have never really had specialty coffee before, right?
Yeah, and I didn't realize what I was missing out on.
It's hard to find a military guy that does not like coffee.
Well, tell me this then. This is interesting. You mentioned that when I worked at BlackBerry, there was one department that was nothing but military veterans that worked in there on the IT department. And at the time, we were going through training, right, for all the servers and all the stuff that we're doing. And at the time, coffee didn't really keep me awake. So one of the guys said, and you correct me if I'm wrong or if he was just making stuff up, but he said that you guys are not really allowed to have coffee in the military? Or is
Well,
that depending?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, because he said like, just drink a mint tea. So I was drinking mint tea.
Yeah.
Maybe some line of probably
Right, that's what I'm
couldn't think
thinking.
about. Yeah, you can.
Because of the jitters
coffee's
and
a
stuff.
big.
Like, I guess if you're like a sniper or something,
Oh, maybe it was.
Maybe.
that's probably
Yeah,
what it was.
I could see that if he was a scout sniper or something and needed to have his steady hand.
Right.
Or a pilot or something. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't know. Even pilots drink
Yeah.
coffee.
So
But
throughout my training there, I drank raspberry tea, and I'll mix up with mint tea because the mint kind of got me pretty sharp. It worked better than
Yeah.
coffee at the time. 'Cause I
definitely,
didn't really drink coffee.
I don't drink the coffee for the caffeine, man. I really like the flavor of coffee and the smell of coffee. Just bring me so much memories and stuff. But you
But
know,
that separates us from a lot of people
yeah,
because a lot of people drink coffee in the morning because they need the caffeine.
right. I could see that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What you got today for us, my man?
So this one, I actually put this on one of our in our Instagram because I was at a Central Market and I actually made espresso right outside of Central Market with this coffee here. But now we're gonna have it as a pour over. Made it on a clever. So hold on to this for now. We're gonna all drink it together. Leander, this one is for you. But yeah, this one is it's called Oak Cliff Coffee Roasters. Super cool. I've had some other stuff by them, but this one here had the roasted on day on them, which we were talking about it. And I'm excited about this one as a pour over because I've been making this as espresso and it's delivering what I wanted. So the way we're gonna appreciate this one, Brandon, you're gonna give it a good smell. And then you're gonna slurp on it and let it sit on your mouth for a little bit.
Ooh, this one is very different.
Mm-hmm. Is it different than what you used to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a tea, right?
In a good
sure.
way or a bad way?
A good
you
way.
can be honest. Completely honest.
It's definitely lighter.
Mhm.
And there's a little bit more complexity to it than what I usually drink.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you drink? Do you put sugar or like half and half or anything?
I
in your
just
coffee?
drink it straight black.
Yeah.
Something weird like that. Yeah.
Right on. Right on.
And talk about the caffeines of these things that when you from the black dark roast, you know what I mean?
Right. So one thing that is very interesting. Let me ask you this: if you were to guess, if you were to put $100 right now on the table and you have to bet which coffee will have more caffeine, this right here that I just made for you, or the same quantity of espresso? Which one would you bet that has more caffeine?
Probably the espresso. No.
No, that's what's
It's
different.
crazy, man.
Yeah.
I didn't think it either. And then he's told me that it's like he's bullshitting me, so I had to go and Google
Yeah.
it.
There was
And
this guy. This guy, he's a huge geek, coffee geek on YouTube. He bought this machine. It's like a $2,000 machine. And basically he got like 18 grams of, he got a bag of coffee. He got 18 grams in one container, 18 grams in the other container. This one he made espresso with it. The other one he made a recipe kind of like what we did. And when he measured, a pour over had almost double the amount of caffeine because caffeine should be released in its time and temperature. So once you combine the two at the right time, the right temperature, there's going to be so much caffeine released versus espresso that is just like a punch of hot water over the coffee ground and you get the espresso out of it. So
Interesting.
it's pretty cool, right?
yeah, geek.
I guess. Nerd.
Nerd.
But so if you were to score this kind of coffee, like what would you say?
Probably a solid 7.
7, yeah. And remember, you're not hurting our feelings. This is not our coffee.
That's cool.
But
no, you should say that. Probably a 5.
Right.
It's different. Yeah, I'll give it a 5.
yeah. I mean, I like it for the espresso. So
Yeah, and I
for
can
the
see this on
versatility of it,
espresso. Yeah.
For the versatility, I'll give it a 7.5. But man, thank you for sharing a cup of coffee with us. Also, thank you for your service. We truly appreciate that. And definitely want to hear more of your story. And I want to hear you guys geeking out about some marketing stuff. Yeah, that'll be fun. Once again, thank you so much. I'm not going to let you leave empty-handed from here. So now in your mornings, you're going to have a little something there for you
Thank you.
to enjoy your coffee in the morning. And if you do want some more coffee, you know where to find me.
Sounds
Cool
good.
deal. All right, let's go. All right.
Hey guys, real quick before we continue. So if you want to learn a little bit more how to get started on investing in real estate today, please go to their website, multifamilyempire.com. And if you also want to learn how to do the best cup of coffee in your own home, we're going to teach you a lot of tips and tricks. Go to multifamilyempire.com/forward the real grind. Let's get back to that interview. This segment of the show is actually better, man, because I can just have the coffee in front of me. I could just sipping, dude. But dude, what was, so you invested passively first on multifamily. And did you buy any more houses? Because you have say you bought your first house and then you bought the auction house. Then you have any more single families?
Yeah, there's actually there's a big gap. So we actually started investing in notes. So my mentor at the time got a call. He was working on a short sale. He got a call from the lender. It was like, hey, we're thinking about just selling these things before we take title to them. Would you be interested in buying these? And when a bank tells you that, the answer is yes. If you because now you have a direct bank contact that you can buy these assets from. And so we worked together for a number of years, bought stuff in 22 different states. I learned a lot about remote asset management, hiring and firing contractors, estimating repairs, working with foreclosure attorneys, bankruptcy attorneys, and all that aspect of it. So that's really where I learned real estate the most. At least in the single family space, because our intent with a lot of these that were vacant and abandoned. And we either got a deed in lieu of foreclosure, or we would complete the foreclosure, as a lender, because when you buy the note, you essentially step into the shoes of the bank,
right?
And you have all the rights and privileges.
You're the banker, right? You were a bank,
correct.
You still do notes?
Not as much anymore. My focus has shifted more towards the multifamily space and syndication.
Absolutely. So, what was your first investment on multifamily?
In multifamily, my first one was a property called the Bristols over in Hearst. And really great sponsorship team. I joined them for the same reason, that I joined you guys on your first deal. I just saw the potential. I see potential in people. Yes, the asset's important, but I definitely look at what's the relationship you can build. What can you learn from this? And getting your operational and financial reports every month is like almost like getting a little degree in learning multifamily, because you see how you're supposed to execute a business plan. You see it in action. It's not theory. It's happening every month, and so it's just an amazing learning opportunity to invest passively in a competent sponsor's deal.
And you syndicated a couple deals?
Yes. I'm a general partner in 2 deals, one in North Richland Hills, the other in Holtham City.
Nice.
And
how was that experience then? Are you the asset manager too, or?
Sort of an assistant asset manager. We have like a lead, and then I assist. I'm more of a details guy, like detail oriented. I like to review financials and try to keep an eye on expenses and things like that. And marketing. So I assist in the marketing with a lot of the properties I'm involved with, particularly around driving, traffic to the property and running ads and things like that.
Yeah, definitely, man. And this is definitely now the times that we have a lot of organic growth on the city of Fort Worth. I would say, that it's population growth is just growing tremendously, right? And obviously rents, but still there is competition too. And at the end of the day, when you talk about multifamily, what is going to drive people to your property? What is that? If you're in the street, for example, I'm on a contract now on a property, and then there's a next street that is like 4 or 5 different properties on the street, like next to each other, right? So if you're shopping for an apartment, what does that make you special? Obviously, there's the price, but if it's not the price wasn't the factor, what is, the things you put in the factor? Because we all know the buyers are emotional, right? Especially when they're looking for apartments. So the marketing perspective, like how to market that property, how to bring leads in, and even more difficult when a property is not on a busy street, that you have to market more. And it's such a powerful tool to leverage marketing. For Enclave, I see in the end of the month how many people ask directions from their phone to go to the property. It's insane, the numbers. And then we go and check with the property management. What is your site visit? How many people came in here? And then we do a conversion rate, right? To see. And I feel that a lot of even management companies doesn't do that, man.
Right. And that's such a key piece, because you could be spending tons of money on marketing, but if the leasing agent's not doing their job, those tenants, those prospects are going on to the next property, and you paid for that lead.
Yeah.
So
we did here a training with our property managers, brought them here, and we're just teaching, literally just talking about closing sales, how to be, follow up, or how to present yourself, things to say, and like one time I was in the property doing something, and I saw a prospect come in, and then they're like, okay, I'll think about it, and can I take an application home? If I was me leasing that unit, dude, I'd be like, hey, no, why don't we just fill up right now? I'll help you.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you close right now, maybe you
Yeah.
can get, something. I don't know, but like,
Yeah.
don't let them leave.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just do it right now. This is a great residence for you, and stuff like that. The operators like ourselves, you're including us, like, other people that watch the show. You have to be in nowadays more a little bit of watching those things, man.
Right.
Talk to me about the smart syndicator. What did that came about?
Yeah. So there's this book that I read called Rework, and they talk about one of the ways to validate a product, that there is a market for a product, is to build it for yourself. And this is something that I needed at the time. On my first deal when I was raising capital,
Mm-hmm.
it was a very messy process. I was talking to a lot of people that they were not qualified, they were not interested, they were just curious. And I spent hours and hours explaining things, just to have them say no at the end. And so it was a lot of brain damage,
Yeah.
And so
Nurturing those
yeah,
leads and
not that education is brain damage. I mean, I enjoy teaching people,
yeah.
but it's such a stressful time when you're under contract on something and you want to get your deal closed. And its value, the value's there, the deal is good, but you're stumbling on the process,
Mm-hmm.
And so I developed a model around a CRM platform, and it's designed specifically to help you reach out to people and then educate and qualify them before you actually get on the phone with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it really just streamlines that whole process. So there's a component for when you're under contract on something and raising money. And then there's another very important component that's teaching people the benefits and helping them better understand the business model
Mm-hmm.
of multifamily investing and the tax advantages, things like that. So it's important to be raising money before you need money. And so that it's not like a mad scramble when it comes time.
Definitely. And so what is the service now that, so if I log up, I get into the program, you just have a roadmap of sequence of emails and
Exactly. So we've developed a series of automations to help you send out your text blast, your email blast, in a very strategic way. You don't just like hammer people.
Yeah.
It's more like a soft touch initially, like, hey, how, I have this property under contract. Are you interested in being involved? And we don't hammer people with stats and everything unless they ask for it.
Yeah.
So if they say, yeah, I'm interested in being involved, can you send me more details? Those are the people that will actually get additional information and details on it. And if they don't respond, we generally just leave them alone,
And then does this platform kind of have you put in, for example, a deal that I'm on a contract and I sign up for the platform? Does I put the information there itself and the system will do automation for you? Or
So we have a form that you fill out. There's about 94 inputs on there around
And
all
kinda
variables of the deal.
self-populates, yeah.
What is the return? What is the total return? That sort of thing. And it will populate through all the templates that we've designed for the property. And everything is customizable. They don't have to use the templates we use. It's just those are the templates that we use and that we have used in the past successfully. So there is a proven method. Is it the best? Maybe they can improve upon it, but they at least have this strong foundation to build on, particularly if they've never done it before.
And that's definitely, man. I mean, you said it right. Like it came out of necessity because definitely, like, I feel that I'm fortunate to have my marketing background, but I see a lot of people struggle in this category. What to do? Back in the days when people were capital raising, it was easier.
Right.
The raises were smaller, wasn't as much as today because the prices wasn't as high as
there
today.
was more cash flow.
Right,
Yeah.
it was more cash flow, so it was easier to raise like one,
Right.
$2 million. Now people are raising 10, 15, even see $20 million raises, man. It's like, it's large. It's a big deal, right? And people are sending one email, don't even put nothing on the email, just like written email, and he'll be able to raise that way. I feel now, I want to say with the influence of social media and all that, it's just being, the branding really matters, right? How you look, how you approach, how you communicate. And today there's a lot of tools, I know, for you to make that successful, but it's still, in the end of the day, you need to learn how to do your tool. But having a platform like yours that you can just come in, answer questions, and it populates a funnel and automation, that's genius, man. That's awesome. Congratulations, dude.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Really cool. And how do you feel now that you're now into a tech company? Is it scary?
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's exciting to me. I've always sort of geeked out on the technical stuff.
Right.
When I was a little kid, I used to take stuff apart and break it and put it back together, and that's just the way my brain works, you know. And when I can make processes that are in my mind become a reality, and like there's an actual flow to it, it gives me a sense of satisfaction, and just seeing people succeed on the platform is very rewarding for me.
That's awesome, dude. And Brent, how can people get in touch about the Smart Syndicator, and also about you for a contact?
Yeah. So smartsyndicator.com. If you just go to the website in the upper right corner, you can book a call. Or if you just want to talk to me directly, chatwithbrandon.com.
Awesome. There's going to be a link down below, guys, where you can learn about his business, the Smart Syndicator. I telling you, this is a big deal. Nowadays, your message really matters, right? Your message, your content, your branding. So definitely get check him out. You see his contact in the bottom. But dude, this has been a great interview, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, we know we don't see each other often. I see you sometimes when the event is so quick by, but you have a conversation, get to know a little bit better along with our listeners. But before I let you go, man, this is the part that we're gonna ask a little bit about your background here. That's the spilling the beans with Brandon Wong. Let's go. All right.
Here we go.
Look at him. He's nervous. An angry client or an angry coworker? What would you rather have?
Angry coworker.
An angry coworker. I mean, eat a little angry all the time, you know. But I hate to see an investor angry. Follow your passion or stability?
Follow your passion, if I had to choose.
Facebook or LinkedIn?
Facebook.
Active Campaign or MailChimp?
Active Campaign.
Check. Yeah, nice. Muscle cars or electric cars?
Electric cars.
Get out of here, man.
I like them both. That's a tough one, man.
Jack Daniels or Johnny Walker?
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels. Okay, 250 units, 1960 properties, or a 20 units, 2022 property?
20 unit. Or the 2020 property. 2022.
All right. 20 units, though?
There's a lot I could do with that in terms of midterm to short-term rental.
That's coming from a marketer guy with a confidence that will boost the shit out of the property, man. And that completes the spilling the beans with Brandon, man. Let's go. Interesting, because for me, I would have picked the 250 units. It's just because, like, you know, the value add, but definitely the value of the 20 units, 2022, definitely, you know, it's value wise.
You might have a monstrous capital raise on that too.
Yeah.
So
Very cool, man, dude. And this part, very proud of your accomplishments. It's really nice and inspiring, dude. But if you were to look back and tell yourself piece of advice or something you would do different, what would you have to say?
I would have said to my maybe 22, 23-year-old self to go use your VA loan, buy a fourplex, use the income from the other units to qualify and pay it down and just rinse and repeat and do it over and over.
Doing what you do now. And what is your incentives now that you're passionate about helping all the veterans, man? What do you do for them?
So I hold a annual summit called the Veterans in Real Estate Summit. And what I do is I get a number, like this year we had 15 subject matter experts that are all veterans that are just crushing it in their space with a different asset class, and have them give classes to the veterans, maybe the other veterans that are doing well, but also maybe those that are thinking about getting started and don't really know where to start, because it creates a very collaborative atmosphere where nobody's trying to sell you anything. It's just veterans that have been there that are trying to help out the other veterans.
It's true. That's awesome, man. And imagine if, you're coming out of military school, you don't really know what to do. And like you find a vehicle or a person or a mentor that could help them go to the track for financial freedom, right? That's amazing. Right. Congratulations, man. Thank you so much for being in the show, and very inspired by your story. Go ahead and check this guy out, man. Super cool. And this is The Real Grind.
And as always, thank you so much for watching The Real Grind. We're on Facebook, YouTube, your favorite podcast platform. And this episode is sponsored by Green Empire Landscaping. So if you have any landscaping needs, check these guys out on Instagram. The link's gonna be right in the description. And for all the veterans out there, thank you so much for your service. The Real Grind, really, really appreciate everything you've done for us out there. And Brandon, thank you so much as well for sharing your story. And for more amazing stories like this one, guess what? Subscribe to our channel so you're never gonna miss another amazing story at The Real Grind. Let's go.
Waking up to success, now we're getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on gourmet coffee.